Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hawaiian Shirt Projects. Today in episode 3, we're going to work on adding the support beams for the roof of the pallet shop build. Stick around. I started off by measuring on the inside of the current shop the height from the ground to the support beam going across horizontally. This is where I'm going to be attaching the support beams for the roof of the new shed. So I took that measurement and I subtracted 4 inches for the pallet height that I'm using as the floor. And I'm going to take and go up on the side of the building here. I'm going to use a screw to kind of mark a little spot in the paint on the outside wall for where I'm going to drill my holes to put my screw into the wall for my string line that I'm going to be using to level everything out. Here I have just a basic slip knot that I'm using on a piece of old paracord that I found laying around the ranch. I'm going to wrap that around the screw, pull it nice and tight, make sure it's snug, drag it all the way across to the other side of the shop, loop it around the screw that I've already got in the bracket, and tie it off. Using this line, I'm just going to go ahead and go through and drill the holes for each of my hanger brackets for my studs. Would have been a lot easier if I used an actual drill, but all I had at the moment was some self-tapping metal screws. So we're just going to use those to make the holes, pull them back out, and then we'll put in the actual wood screws that I'll be using for the brackets later. Here I am just making sure that I drilled into wood, not just sheet metal. That way there's something on the backside to support it. I'm just going to do the same thing all the way down the line, and then using the 2x4 as a marker, I'm going to go across to the opposite end of the shed. I'm going to figure out where I'm going to have the other brackets to attach. I'm going to go with every other 2x4 going from the ground up, holding up the wall. So I'm just going to take the current 2x4 that I have as my support beam out. Because I've already got it cut, it's the length and everything, I want them all to be the same size. I'm just going to use it as a template for the cutting the rest of my 2x4s. I'm just going to set it on top here, line everything up nice and even. That way you can get a good solid measurement. I'm going to take a screw and just kind of mark it using that. You use a pencil, crayon, whichever you choose. I just had a screw readily available, decided to go with that. This is episode 3 of the pallet shed build. If you guys haven't watched the first 2 episodes, I definitely recommend it. I'll make sure to put links to them somewhere around here. That way you guys can check those out as well. I'm just going to go ahead and take my marked off 2x4s and cut them with the saw, making sure that they're all the same size, all got the same angle on them, and do that with all of my studs I'm going to be using as my support beams. I'm just taking the hanger bracket for the 2x4s. I'm going to hold it up there flush with the string. That way I could use my drill and mark out the holes. That way I could start drilling my holes all the way down. Same thing we were doing earlier, just kind of finishing up, starting on the one end. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and say thank you guys for watching my videos and for making it this far. If you're liking the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're digging the tunes, hit that like button. If you don't like it, go and hit that thumbs down. If you guys want to see more videos like these, I do a lot of these do-it-yourself project type videos. This is episode number 3 of my shed build. We're going to continue on for a couple more episodes by the time it's finally finished. But if you like seeing them, you want to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, little notification bell right next to it. That way you know as soon as I release a new video. So a little bit of a backstory as to the Hawaiian shirts. So I am from Wyoming, spent most of my life here, so pretty landlocked to be wearing Hawaiian shirts. But when I was a kid, family decided that we were going to move to California for a little while, so I went and I dug deep into some Hollywood films about California. Watched movies like Beverly Hills Cop and stuff like that, and I just fell in love with Hawaiian shirts, so I went out and bought a whole bunch of them. The sad part about the story is I still fit in those shirts that I bought 10 years ago. Haven't grown very much. But right now I got about 13, 14 Hawaiian shirts. Absolutely love them. Plan on getting more in the future. As you can see here, this is the reason why using an actual drill would be a lot better than me using this self-tapping screw, because the dang thing keeps falling. So I just had to fight that, figured grab a magnet. That way if it falls, no big deal, gets stuck to the magnet. Just like that. Magic. Here's a different view. Just try and drill out the holes on each side of the bracket. That way they're already preset for when I go to hang them. These brackets do typically come a little bit expanded, so you will have to pinch them closed a little bit in order to get both holes lined up and for it to be somewhat close to the size that you need for the 2x4. Then you're just going to take, drill into the side of the 2x4, or put a screw into the side of the 2x4 to hold everything in place. We're going to go back to the other side of the wall and do the same thing on that side. Check to make sure it's seated pretty well, and now we have one support beam finished. I'm going to go through and do a string line on the other wall as well. That's where I want my height to be. Line them up with the brackets on the other side of the wall, and just kind of put these hangers in place as well. Once both sides of the hangers are up, I can go ahead and take the 2x4 stud and run it across, screw it in to both sides of the walls, and that's it. Just check it with my body weight, make sure that's stable and going to hold it to at least 150 pounds. That way when it snows, no big deal. I know that the roof's not going to collapse on me. Some of the pallet walls, the boards are warped, so they're leaning outward a little bit. I'm just having to pull them into me a little bit closer to make sure that everything is connected well. This also makes a nice flush, even wall on the outside for when I attach my sheet metal. I'm just going to continue doing this all the way down the line. Like I said, every other vertical board is what we're going with. That'll do just fine for the project that we're working on right now. Now throughout this video, it's kind of a shame, but you would have been able to see the beautiful mountains in the background. Unfortunately, we got a lot of fires going on around here, just like everywhere else in the country. So I just want to give a shout out to the firefighters and first responders right now working on that. They're doing really good work, busting their butts off, trying to get these fires controlled. Just want to say thank you guys. You're awesome. Here's a picture of the finished product for today. With it, I just want to say thank you guys, stay classy and party on.